One more breath here. And then we're going to go for something a little bit stronger. We're going to extend the feet. So you're going to imagine that you're doing mountain pose. But obviously we're lying on our side. So and really lift up that arm and stretch away with the arm. So the feet pressing away as though pressing into the floor. So we're still on our side. And the arm reaching up towards the wall behind you. Well, yeah, so we're the feet pressing one way, the arm reaching the other way. So it's very dynamic. And then we're going to lift that arm towards the ceiling and bend the knees, and we're going to let the arm move back behind us. So we're resting in a twist. So the knees pointing one way, the arm moves back in the other direction. So we're in a twist. And can you press your shoulder blade down? Keep breathing. Really focusing on the top rib area. And in a moment, we're going to come back up, but take one more full breath into the lower ribs, and a long breath out. So slow breath out. And now bring your arm back up, all the way back up to the ceiling, and then down to the floor. Press yourself up to sitting, and we'll go to the other side. So take your cushion, support your head. So the top arm's just resting over the ear. So I know it probably doesn't feel like a lot's happening. It's more restorative stretch, so we're not trying to forcibly open the side body. But there is still, quite a... There's Louisa. Hi, Louisa. We're lying on the sides. We're lying on the side. We're taking a side stretch.
Oh, thanks.
So we're taking the arm over the ear. Breathing into the lower ribs. And it's a gentle sort of stretch, so that we can really focus on the breath. If we were going for perhaps a stronger stretch, it's harder to get that, awareness. We'll go for something stronger in a moment. So these resting poses are really, really beneficial if your energy's low. You can still get a lot of benefit for the body. You can kind of open the body up and release a lot of tension, but without exerting tension. So yeah, huge. Very often, if you're feeling tired and you don't feel like you've got a lot to give to yoga, these sort of lying down poses really, really helpful. You can come away feeling so much more energetic and better for your mood as well. So we're going to go a bit more dynamic. We're going to reach with that top hand. So we're lifting it off the ear, and we're going to straighten up the legs. So we're taking like a mountain pose, but from the side. So the feet, really pressing the feet away, really reaching with that top arm. Don't really do mountain from the side. A little bit unusual. Keep breathing. And then we're going to lift the arm up to the ceiling, and you can relax your knees now, bend them, and we're going to let the arm float back. So we're coming into a twist. So it's just a very different approach to a twist. Let the arm float back, the arm could be shoulder height, but maybe if your shoulders are stiff, you're going to be happier to have the arm, lower towards the waist. And your gaze can follow that arm, your gaze can follow the top arm. Or maybe just up towards the ceiling if your neck is stiff. And if you can, press that shoulder, the top shoulder, back towards the floor. So one more breath here. And then we're going to come all the way up. So the arms coming up first. We're going to bring it down to the floor, press ourselves up to sitting. Louisa, you only did one side, so perhaps you'll be better just rolling over and doing the other side, so you're not wonky. And the rest of us, we're just going to sit for a moment, and you can catch us up when you've done the other side. I wanted to show you a point that again, we ideally in the summer we've got bags of energy and we're rushing around everywhere, but the reality is that we can end up feeling depleted, and I wanted to show you a point that's very good for sort of restoring energy, and for when you're feeling sluggish or damp. It's a point for healing damp. So damp can manifest as sluggishness, tiredness, or in the more, it can manifest as sort of things like mucus or fungal infections and things like that, yeast infections, that sort of thing. But in the lesser side of damp in Chinese medicine, it's expressed as just feeling sluggish, wanting to lie down, that kind of thing. So it's a point on the leg. We're going to sit comfortably. So take, whatever comfortable seat that is going to work for you, so that you can hold the leg, the lower leg, and it's the inside of the leg. So this lower part of the inside of the leg. But we'll start by finding the ankle bone. So it's the inside of the, it's called the medial malleolus. So find your ankle bone. And then it's the topmost part of the ankle bone. We're going to place our 4 fingers on the top of the ankle bone. And the point is 4 finger widths above the ankle bone. So you'll find the shin bone. So place the 4 fingers. And then around the 4th finger, find the bone. And then slide your thumb back, so you're more away from the bone to the back of the leg, into the fleshy part of the leg. So I'm just going to come closer so you can see. So there's the bone, the ankle bone. There's your 4 fingers. And then the spleen, it's a spleen point. It's not quite on the bone. You might more slide your thumb back to the fleshy area. Now, for a lot of people, and me included, this can feel very sensitive. It's a point for sort of calming the body, and things like faintness. If you're finding that you get dizzy when you stand up, if you suffer from faint or poor sleep, but especially sort of sluggish feelings. So we're going to press in here. Now, for quite a few people, the whole of the inner shin can feel sensitive. So once we've found the point, and maybe you feel nothing, maybe you feel something quite strong. It's interesting to just explore. We're going to come up, find the shin bone higher up the leg, and then just with our thumbs sort of squeeze into the underside of the shin. So we're kind of, imagine you're like gently kneading bread. Gently. And for me, that tenderness comes, quite high up the leg actually. So It's very, very surprising, I think, to experience the tenderness there, because we'll be aware of tightness in other parts of the body, but less likely to notice how the shin feels. We might feel the calf, we might be aware of the calf. So now hopefully you've got a sense of where the point is. So we're just going to kind of relax our way into the leg. So I was sitting up in a not a very comfortable way. Hopefully you can find a comfortable seat where you can just gently massage into the leg. So the point is a spleen point. The spleen works with the stomach in Chinese medicine. It's very much. I just don't want to overwhelm you with information, but if you think about, it's a point for when you're feeling tired, low energy, sort of strengthening, nurturing. It's a yin point, and it's also a point where 3 channels meet in the leg. So you've got the kidney, the liver, and the spleen meeting in the leg. So it's considered to be a very powerful point, used a lot in acupuncture. We'll do the other leg in a moment. So swap legs, find your ankle bone. Okay, take your 4 fingers, so just come a bit closer so you can see. Place them above the ankle bone, above the topmost part of the ankle bone. And there, where the 4th finger is roughly where the spleen is going to be. They talk about 4 finger widths. So we find the bone and then slide your finger back more into the fleshy area. Gently. I don't know how it feels to you. Very often it's a sort of feeling of, just surprising sort of sore, but not very sharp. More of a sort of vulnerable sort of feeling. And then we can work down the whole leg, explore the whole leg, because it's not a precise science, but often can be in slightly different locations for different people. So find the shin bone and then press into the fleshy side at the back of the leg. And then we'll finish by bringing the soles of the feet together and just resting our hands over that area. I'm hoping you've got a nice warm, sort of comfortable feeling in your hands. So the yin is very much the inside of the body. The yang tends to be the outer edge of the body. So the outer leg tends to be more the yang. The inner arm is the yin. And the spleen has the role of lifting things up, so energetically. So hence, if you're feeling kind of dizzy or struggling to stand up, or you're just tired, and you want to desperate to have a lie down, then that's an indication that your spleen energy is not functioning as well as it could. So that's what I wanted to focus on today, to sort of find ways to kind of give ourselves a little boost. So we're going to come now onto all fours. Spread the fingers, drop the weight down through the hands. And we're going to round the back and drop the head. You can squeeze your thighs together a little bit. You can press into the feet, the front of the feet. Really rounding the back. And can you kind of scrunch up the belly area a little bit? So a feeling of those muscles, those belly muscles contracting. And then relax those muscles and lift the head and chest. So we're taking a cow pose. And this time the contraction is in the back body. A little squeeze of the inner thigh, and feel a little firming in the buttocks. And can you very gently, so it's a gentle sensation of squeezing the muscles along the spine, stretching the chest forward. And then relax those muscles, and we're moving it gently back to cat. Again, a little squeeze of the inner thigh, sense of engagement of all these abdominal muscles, pressing down through the hands, drop the head. So it's contraction of the front body. And then relaxing those muscles, do that transition to cow, lifting the head and the chest. But again, you can squeeze the inner thigh, press a little bit into the front of the feet, firm the buttocks, feeling the posterior chain muscles up further up the back, engaging. Squeeze your shoulder blades in a little. And then back to a neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes under. So we're coming into not quite a child pose, because our toes are tucked under, but sort of that shape, and we're really extending through the arms. So spread the fingers, middle finger points forward, really pushing down. Make those arms active. We don't want to overextend because we're going to come into downward dog, but we're activating the arms for downward dog. So when you're ready, lifting up into downward dog. And we're connecting with the breath here. I'm just moving my mat back a little bit so that you can see me better. So we're connecting with the breath here. So bend the right knee, breathe in. Bend the left knee, breathe out. So those deep breaths as well are so revitalizing. So the lungs have a role in boosting your vitality. We want to really sense that lower breath coming into the lower airway. So you can even press your knee towards your lower ribs, perhaps even touching the knee on the low, or the ribs to the lower knee. You can bend your knees quite a bit to do that. Really full breaths, deep breaths. And now we're bringing, so you've got two options here. We're going to step the right foot forward, but if you want to bring the knees down first to step the right foot forward, do that. Depends how energetic you're feeling. So we are going to come up into a lunge position, and we're taking the block with us. So if you're using a block, you're going to bring it up and overhead. And we're not gripping the block. I'll quickly show you. We're going to just press into the block. So in the same way as when we used blocks for the inner thigh, it's just a sort of squeezing in as opposed to grabbing. So it's really sort of squeeze the thighs together, lift the arms overhead. Really activating the arms. You could spread the fingers. Big breaths into the lower ribs. And then we're coming down. So bring the hands and the block down, press the floor away, step back to downward dog. We're taking the other leg. So when you're ready, lifting the left foot, stepping forward, coming into lunge, and picking up the block, come up with the arms overhead. So again, feel those, activating those muscles between the thighs. So then immediately, hopefully that will activate the core, fillip of the belly. So they talk about the inner thigh muscles as being a preliminary to activating the core. Really extending up through the arms. Press back into the little toe, into the back foot, so the little toes pressing down. And then very smoothly bringing the arms down. Hands either side of the foot. We're going to step back into a plank. And if you're not feeling in the mood for a full plank, then just keep the knees down. Or actually another option, if you're not so keen on a plank, is to just lift one knee and really extend through that leg. And then bring that knee down and extend through the other leg. I like that option. And in fact, we will bring the knees down in a moment. So just bring the knees down, and we want to feel the abdominal muscles engaging. So sort of rippling feeling, as we did. It's not quite as the same sensation as in cat, but still contraction of the front body. And you can give yourself a little bit of an arch in the upper back. Again, it's not quite a cat, to help activate the belly. And then we're going to take our bum back towards our heels, tuck the toes under, come up into downward dog. Connect with your breath. So bend one knee, breathe in. Bend the other knee, breathe out. Bend one knee, breathe in. Bend the other knee, breathe out. We're stepping forward with the right foot. Bring the back knee down, picking up the block again. And this time you've got the option, if you want to go a little stronger, of picking up the back knee so you're in a standing position. So it's quite nice to do that, to stretch out the back legs. So we've got the back heel lifted, and you can maybe drop down a tiny bit with the knee. So you're kind of bending and straightening that back leg. So we are going to come all the way down again with the knee. You might want a bit of padding, by the way, for the back knee. So you could use your cushion here. And we're going to swivel on the knee, on the back knee. Just going to on my knee. So that we find ourselves in the kneeling warrior. So your right knee's forward. And the back foot is swiveling away behind you. You can have your hands on the hips for the moment. So I'm really interested, as you know, in the inner thigh, but also the outer thigh muscle, because they're both very necessary. And the outer thigh muscle is what would stop your knees knocking in. So if you have a tendency for the knee to float in, and in this kneeling position, very often the knee will be the front knee will be moving in a little. We'll find it hard to stay upright. So we're going to bring our hand to the outer thigh, and we're going to press the back thigh, the outer thigh into the hand. We'll just do that a few times. It doesn't have to be a lot of movement, it could be quite subtle, but it's a strong feeling. And then, just so we don't forget about the inner thigh, relax the thigh now. We'll just bring the back of the hand into the inner thigh, and we're pressing into the inner thigh, and the inner thigh can press back. So you've got a little conversation going between the hand and the leg. And this is brilliant, for strengthening your knees, regardless of whether you have an injury or not. In fact, if you do have an injury, these are very good, generally pretty safe sort of things to do. We're going to just relax the leg a little bit and take our warrior arms. So the warrior arms are shoulder height. And we're really extending through the arms. So can you make this your best warrior. So you're really pressing the fingertips away and you're looking over the right hand. And now the back hand usually wants to drop down a little bit. So have a little check here with your back arm. Oh, I'm wobbling. Breathing. And then relax the hands down. We're going to straighten up that right leg and press very firmly into the little toe edge. So you're activating the outer heel, the outer ankle. And then we're going to just see if we can come down. And this is where the block is helpful, or a book or something. You might not need it, but we're going to come down to the side. So it's like a version of, it's a little bit like a side plank or Pajvakonasana. You don't have to go, if you can make it a little easier on yourself, then do. But some of you might feel it's very comfortable to come to the floor. It does depend on how long your arms are, to some extent. And then we're going to take the right arm and find that line from the back foot all the way up to the fingertips of the right hand. And press down into the left hand so you're not collapsing into the shoulder on that side. Breathing here. And then we're going to come up. So bring the hand all the way back to the side body. And can you now, you could use your block here if you wanted to. It's just optional. Put it under the ball of the foot. So we're turning the toes of the foot up. And you can press into the block with the ball of the foot. If you don't have that option, it's fine. You can just keep the rest on the heel of the foot. But sometimes it's quite nice to have something to push into. And if you push down to the floor, it can create cramping feeling in the foot. So that's why it's nice to have something under the ball. We're taking our arms up to shoulder height, and the palms turn up now. We're going to open the chest a bit, so pull the arms back a little. So you're opening up the pectoralis muscles at the front of the chest. Take a deep breath here. And then we're taking a gentle side bend. So again, very much opening the lung, the side ribs, and the arm can just rest gently on the thigh. If you want to go deeper into this, then of course you can. You can slide lower on the leg, but not necessarily the right thing for everyone to do that. Real focus breaths into the side body. Remember, you don't have to be doing a very deep bend. You can come up at any point. And then we will come up. We'll bring the hands down. We're going to bend that knee, that front knee. We're going to turn back to the front of the mat. You put your cushion to one side. And just pausing here, just resting your weight on the front leg. So you're kind of more of a restorative pose where we just relax our weight. Let the head drop. Let gravity do the job. Let surrendering to gravity. And before we do the other side, we're going to come into child pose. So just take the knee back and come down. Resting the weight of the head. Relaxing the face. Feel the breath in the back body. Maybe you can sense the breath moving beyond the ribs down into the lower back, maybe down towards the tailbone. Sensing the breath traveling the length of the spine. And by the way, if this is only a visualization exercise for you, that's actually a very good thing. Just apparently visualization fires the same part of the brain as the actual movement, which I thought was very interesting. So there's a lot of benefit just in visualizing, which is a comfort, I think, if you feel like you're not maybe doing quite, you can't do the moves as well as you like. And it's a sort of reminder that just thinking about doing things is very powerful. Having an intention is very powerful. So when you're ready, we're going to come back. You could take a kneeling all fours position or a downward dog. So you choose. Reconnect with the breath again. So then the right knee and press your ribs down towards the knee. Breathe in. Then the left knee. Press your ribs down towards the left knee. Breathe out. And then we're stepping the left foot forward. We're going to pick up our block again. So we're going to come up into this lunge position. And there's no rush. In fact, it's good to be slow. I think you can make it more powerful. You can work harder when you work slowly. You have to be more controlled. Check in with the front knee. We want the knee above the ankle. And mindful that we don't want the knee knocking in, so that activating the outer thigh will stop your knee kind of knocking inward. And the inner thigh will give you more stability around the pelvic area. So engage those. I know it's hard to have a sense of the outer and the inner working together, I think, but that's where you can use your visualization, extending through the fingers, keep the arms active. If your shoulders are tight, you can bend the elbows a little. So we're going to come up in a moment. If you want to, sorry, I should have said, yeah, this is an option. You can lift your back knee if you want to. Make it a little bit stronger. So straighten the back leg. The knee, the heel is lifted, and then bending it, dropping down a little. So up and down, just to add a little bit more dynamic sensation. And that could be a lot of feeling. That could be a lot of power there, or it could be minimal. So you're in charge of that. Some of you might want to go really low with the back knee. And then we're slowly coming down. We're going to bring the block down. And this is where you're probably going to want to pad up under the back knee, or at least I like to. So we're going to come up and readjust our stance. So we're in that kneeling warrior position. So the left knee above the left ankle is bent. Right knee, the right foot behind you. We're going to bring our hands onto the outer thigh, pressing a little into the outside thigh, and the outside thigh can press back into the hand. Do that a couple of times. And then we'll just swap so that our hand comes to the inside thigh. You don't have to, you can relax your leg. You don't have to be constantly pulsing your muscles. And then the back of the hand to the inside thigh, and you can kind of press in. So there's a little conversation going on between the leg and the hand. And then hopefully with that little exercise, you've got that real solid foundation. So then we can focus on the upper body. We're going to take our arms to shoulder height. Pressing away through the fingertips. Just be mindful that we want the shoulders to be free from tension. So if you're finding there is a tension creeping in, then a little bend in the elbows. You're looking over the fingers of the left hand. And now relax your arms. It's quite strong, isn't it, on the arms? So we're going to extend the left foot. So this is where you might want a block. We're just taking a side bend so the right hand comes down onto something or maybe to the floor. The toes point forward to the edge of the mat. And we're pressing into the little toe edge of the foot, which is, it's not the easiest thing to activate that outer edge of the foot. And then we're finding the line. So once again, we're opening up the ribs. So you can really feel the breath filling the ribs. I heard a lovely description of the yoga asana, the yoga pose, as being a container for the breath. And that your kind of job in the yoga asana is to fill the container. So I like that idea. So can you fill the container from the little toe all the way to the fingertips? And remember that visualization is powerful. So if you're not feeling it, you can visualize it, and that will be very effective too. We're going to come up, so you can bring that top hand, rest it on the side body, coming up. And this is where we're going to come onto the heel of the foot, so you could bring your block to just, so that the purpose of that is you've just got something to press into. For a lot of people, if they press the foot down to the floor, it's going to arch the foot and create a little cramping, so just to stay that. The other option is just to stay on the heel. Hands are going to be shoulder height. Palms turn up this time. You can pull back a little bit with the hands to open up the chest. And then we're taking a side bend. So it doesn't have to be very, very far. Quite little, but effective. Some of you might want to go all the way down the leg. Breathing, relax the face. Enjoy the feeling. And then we're coming up again. We're going to bend the knee. We're going to come back to this front leg. So we're going to just sort of shuffle the foot round. Come back into a lunge. If you want to, just resting, more of a resting lunge. So unless you want something stronger, of course, go for a stronger lunge. If you want to slide the foot away and slide the back knee away, you can. Relax the weight of the body. So sometimes when we're feeling sluggish and tired, or maybe just not quite our full level of energy. Sometimes it's because we're always switched on, and you'll know that about yourself. You might be, having a lot of mental pressure on yourself, so a lot of thinking and planning, or it just could be that your muscles aren't disengaging. You can engage them, but you forget to disengage them. So these sort of poses are great for kind of allowing the weight of the body to drop. You can drop the head as well, relax the face, the jaw, the belly. We're going to come into a position where we're lying on our belly in a moment. So move your stuff, anything that's in the way, out the way, and step back to a downward dog, or you could be kneeling instead if you prefer. So you get to stretch out a little. And then you can either swing forward to plank and lower yourself to the floor from a plank, or come to kneeling instead and just lower yourself. So the head is resting, and we're going to bring some attention to the shoulders. The hands slide back to the lower ribs. So you can even press a little against your lower ribs and feel the ribs pressing back as you breathe out. The elbows are going to rest or position them above the wrist. And the elbows squeeze in. So then you pick your shoulders up. The head stays down, but you pick the shoulders up away from the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades in. And move the elbows back. Towards the wall behind you. And then relax everything completely. We'll do that again. So when you're ready, slide the fingers back towards the lower ribs. And this can be really powerful. If you want to work harder here, there's definitely potential, but a lot stronger. So really engage, pull the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows in, squeeze the rhomboids. And then if you want to lift higher, press into the feet, so the feet press to the floor, squeeze your thighs together, engage your glutes, press the tailbone, the pubic bone down, and feel the activation of those muscles in the posterior chain, up and down the spine. And then maybe the head can come up. So it's a squeezing in, it's a nurturing sort of feeling. Don't have to come up too high. That looks good, Jane. Some good. I can't see everybody, but I can have a really good vision of you there. And Jean, it looks good too. Yeah. Good alignment. And then completely drop down, and that thing of completely surrendering your weight. So when you do those exercises that are a little bit challenging, I think you can get the release, and then that's where we get really healthy functioning, because we're activating and releasing to full capacity. And then I think, yeah, it's very good for us. So you've got a stronger option as well here. Just a bit closer. You can do that cobra again, or you can bring your hands behind you, interlace them, pick up the shoulders, pull them back, straighten up the arms, press the knuckles back to the feet, and again squeeze the thighs, together, activate the glutes, press the tailbone down, feel that chain of muscles up the spine. And if you want to lift, go for the lift, but you can do a lot without lifting the head and shoulders, or minimal lift. So we're really working the back body muscles, the models of. Remember to breathe. And then come down and completely flop to the floor. And it's a nice feeling, I think, when you've done that. So we're going to roll back onto our backs now. So just take your time. Roll back onto your backs. You're lying on your back, but the soles of the feet are flat on the floor, so the legs are bent. And we can use the block here just to get a feeling of the inner thigh again. You might not feel that you need it. You might have completely, cooperative inner thighs without needing anything to. So, if you're putting something between your inner thighs, do so now. We're lining up our knees roughly above the ankles. We're pressing the hands down to the floor. We're going to lift, so we're squeezing the block. We can activate the pelvic floor as well as we do this. And it's a sort of gentle movement. The feet stay down unless, if your back isn't ready for this, you feel like it's not good for your back to get that lift, then don't. Keep the knees down, keep the bum down, but you can still get the squeeze of the thigh and the pelvic floor. So there's a lot that can happen without fully activating the muscles. Same as we were discussing about intention being powerful, without actually having to do as much. Sometimes we overdo, and you know that yourself. We overdo, in so many ways we do that. But if you're wanting to do more, you can press into your arms, come up a little higher, and you can even interlace your hands underneath you. And what that does is it gives you a chance to kind of pull the shoulders back and down, which can feel really good. So it's the same sort of shape that we're making with the shoulders as we were doing in Cobra, but obviously from a completely different position. The shoulders pull back, back to the floor and down away from the ears. And come down as well, so do rest. Don't feel like you have to hold this. You can relax the inner thighs as well. Let the knees drop in. Reconnect with your breath. And just try that one more time. Remember, if your back's not in the mood, then don't come up, or only just lift the tailbone. It could just be as simple as that. Squeezing the inner thighs, lifting the tailbone, finding your pelvic floor. If you're coming up, if you're comfortable to interlace the hands, that can feel really good. And maybe roll a little bit. Some of you might enjoy rolling a little bit onto the right shoulder and then to the left shoulder. So you're tucking your shoulders underneath you a little bit, which will open your chest, give you a chance to squeeze your shoulder blades in, so all those muscles working again. And come down when you've had enough. So we're going to completely rest the legs now. So let the knees drop in. So feet wide, knees dropping in. We're going to pick up the right knee. We're going to gently hug it in. So hold the back of the thigh. If holding the knee feels a bit much, make it easier on yourself. Hold the back of the thigh. And let's just explore where we can go with the knee. So the knee could come in a little bit, and it could also go out to the side. But we do want to feel the lower back long against the floor. So if bringing the knee in means you're lifting up your lower back, can you press the lower back down? So then you've got a sense of being pulled in two directions. Knees lifting you one way, the lower back presses you down. Gentle feeling. You could extend through the left heel. So you're really sort of driving the heel away. If you want to, you could have the left leg bent otherwise. We're swapping legs. So let's drop the right foot, pick up the left knee. Knee into the chest. Or less is good too. And slide the right foot away. So again, the knee, the left knee, we're using it to kind of pull your body in one direction, but you're pressing down with the lower back so that there's not so there's a sense of two-directional movement. And then the right heel can dig in a little bit. You can we'll finish in a moment with a happy baby. So just when you're ready, you can release both knees, and you could, options are holding the back of the knees, so the knees are wide, holding the ankles of the feet or the big toes. As the name suggests, it has to be tailored for your body, and it has to feel good. Roll a little bit from left to right. You can roll a little bit back and forward. We can do one leg. So if we keep hold of the right foot and drop the left foot back, and we can find that point that we were working. It's a slightly different way to find it, but we're going to find the ankle bone. And you can just use your palm off the other hand and sort of just squeeze the inside of the leg, moving up towards the knee. Or you can go down from the knee towards the ankle. So it's the inside of the leg, which is the yin. It represents the yin. So the yin is more cooling, calming, nurturing. The yang tends to be more active. Like loads of sun salutations would be more yang. Lots of kind of adrenaline. Not to say it's all good, to be honest, but sometimes we need more of one than the other. We'll do the other side, so just pick up the other leg, swap legs, pick up the other leg. So we're half a happy baby. Finding your your point. So it's called spleen 6 or 3 in meeting. And don't worry, because we're using touch, you can be more relaxed about the position. You can just follow the feeling. It's not going to, it's very gentle way to work this point. You can kind of move up and down the leg. We'll finish in a moment by placing the soles of the feet together. I know that's not everybody's favourite shape. So drop your feet to the floor and press the soles of the feet together. You can use cushions under the knees, by the way, because it is quite strong on the hips. So we're very much opening the inside leg. So it's very yin, very much a yin open, yin activating. So Karen, we're soles of the feet, we're lying on our back, soles of the feet together, pressing into, you could press into the little toe edge. If this is not for you, it might, I know it's not everybody's pose. 2 things you can do is pad up under the legs, so then it will feel more comfortable. Move the feet further away so that it's not so intense. You don't have to have your feet squashed up towards your pubic bone. Or if finally you really feel it's not for you, then you can just take a shavasana. Or have one leg bent and the other leg straight. So you kind of do half one side and then half the other side. It's called Supta Baddha Konasana, which sounds quite fancy. It just means a reclined angle, bound angle. And if you wanted something slightly more dynamic, you could take your arms overhead and hold your elbows. And then you get a little bit of tone over the belly, and nice for, sort of opening up the digestive area, gently stretching, and the armpits as well. This is a fantastic pose, actually. If you wanted a homework pose, really a lot going on. It's quite a lot in one pose, as so many of these poses are, but and again, more dynamic, pressing into the little toe edge. You can lift up your lower back and move it forward towards your heels. That's another thing. But it's also nice to do nothing and just let the body do its thing. Feeling when we're tired, when we're worn out, when we're needing to recharge. It's kind of knowing that the body has its own skills and we don't always have to be doing stuff. With that said, you can come into your shavasana, which is the ultimate pose really for not doing. And just one thing I found so interesting, that, oh, be away, Gillian, goodbye, bye, nice to see you. One very interesting thing about that idea of visualization being powerful, which also you can use that in shavasana, but even when it comes to the core, deep core muscles that we've been working, those muscles are anticipatory muscles. So even just thinking about moving, thinking about a movement will be activating those muscles. So I find that so interesting. So again, more reinforcing this idea that we don't necessarily need to be doing as much as we think we do. We can do less and still have the body reacting. So bear that in mind. Just thinking about standing on one leg is going to be creating a whole sort of sequence of reactions in the body. So set yourself up for your best shavasana, like this is your chance to do your your shining glory, your shining best, beautiful, most therapeutic shavasana. And can you completely let your weight go? So obviously I do try and talk you through that, but like we did when we were doing the cobra and we had that intense holding sensation in the body, and then you kind of dropped your weight. Can you see if that happens for you now? Completely dropping your weight. From the crown of the head, down to the soles of the feet. Relaxing the eyes and the jaw, the tongue, the back of the head, the brow, cheeks, chin, the throat, sides of the neck and the back of the neck, tops of the shoulders, upper arm, elbows, lower arm, wrists, back of the hands, palm of the hands. No holding in the fingers, no grasping, allowing space between the fingers. Sensing each finger like a little river of energy. And relaxing the torso, front of the chest, those pectoralis muscles, the heart, back of the heart. Resting the full weight of the heart, including any sort of heaviness of heart, any heaviness of feeling. Heavy feeling. The ribs. Front, back, side ribs. Belly, waist. Back of the hips. Front, the hip sockets, the glutes, the pelvic floor. Let it be very soft. Inside thighs, outer thigh, front of thigh, back of thigh, back of the knees, the kneecaps, and shins, the inside of the shin, ankles, front of the feet, soles of the feet, big toe, little toes. No gripping in the toes, let the toes be free. Sensing the space around each toe. Maybe sensing that each toe like a little river of energy. Enjoy that feeling. So, if you're ready, you can begin to bring some small movements into the body. If you're not ready for this yet, that's fine. Rest as you are. And then you can roll onto your side. Rest on your side. And come up to sitting. So, thought we'd do a little bumblebee breath. It's the season, isn't it, of bumblebees? And bumblebee breath creates that humming sensation. And I think it's really interesting that kids often intuitively do that to comfort themselves. Very young children, I mean, you often, I don't know what they call it. Is it gurning when they're kind of making that sort of humming sort of sound? And it's said to be very good for the heart. It's said to create a nice vibration around the heart. And the hum also, when we hum, we create more, if we're doing it through the in-breath, through the nose, sorry, if the in-breath is coming through the nose, not through the mouth, in and out through the nose, then we're creating more of this gas called nitric oxide in the nasal cavity. And the therapeutic benefits of that are massive from the point of view of blood flow, improving blood flow to the heart, and all sorts of things. There's a whole sort of interesting science around that. So, like the bumblebee, it's a sort of buzzing sound. You do create a little vibration over the lips, sort of like just like a little buzz. You're breathing in through the nose, and you block your eyes, and you block your ears. So then you get this intense sensation of sound, and it can be quite subtle. No one's going to hear you, or you could really go for it if you want to. So we'll do 3. So block your eyes, do 3, and then just rest with your hands down once you've done your 3. So deep breath in. And then resting. And we're just placing our focus now on the point between the thumb and the forefinger, so you can lightly press the thumb, forefinger together, and shine the light of your awareness into that point. And finishing with the thumbs together and just resting them against your forehead. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a lovely day. Hopefully, I think I can see a little bit of blue sky. So yeah, hope you get to enjoy some of the sunshine, if there is sun. I'll see you all soon. I've nearly finished all my videos. I'll be sending them out to you. And they are getting easier, so yeah, hopefully that'll be a little resource for you. And yeah, see you all soon. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask me. I'm not in a rush if you're a little chat, but otherwise enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, have a good week.
Thanks, Heidi. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Heidi.
Lisa, nice to see you all.
Yeah, and you. Have a good day.
Yeah, and you. Take care.
Okay.
Bye, Carol.
Bye.
Bye.